Welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm joined by Joyce. Joyce, this is what looks like our penultimate Emmys episode.
Now before our mid-season finale.
Right.
Yeah. So
So
should we like leave on a cliffhanger?
What would be the cliffhanger? We'll have to figure it out in the writer's room.
But we're on strike. Are we on strike? We're not on WGA, so it doesn't matter.
So
we can do whatever we want. So
true. No, we're here to talk about the Emmys. Two more. This is it. Voting is happening. It's going to close, and then we're just going to take those results, lock them away, and not think about this for another 4 months.
Do you think they'll count the votes right away?
I think they will, because otherwise I think they might forget about it. And then like they're going to be December, have to be Googling in their emails to be like,
I don't think they'll forget about it, but it's like, ignorance is bliss. Like they don't want anyone to know for 5 months.
Maybe.
Either,
I don't know. What if
but
it
then
sits
it's
around,
like,
though?
I know, like they could get hacked.
Yeah.
So, but then it could also the results could also get hacked. So I don't know.
I mean, I think that's a risk they're going to have to take.
I mean, I would count them. I have 5 months. I've never done it before, but like I can do it.
So. I think they're going to do it. I'll volunteer to count them too. I'd be curious to see, and then I would release the vote totals because I think that
exactly, yeah, because that should be our reward.
Yeah.
For making everyone wait 5 months for this. So, but yeah, voting closes on Monday night.
So not a lot of changes, but I've made at least one.
Of course you did.
A finicky voter, if I was. I moved Christina Applegate into first in comedy actress choice.
Why?
Well, we've talked about this one a lot because it's very competitive. But I've had Rachel Brosnahan the whole time, and I'm just like not sure that there's a lot of passion for Maisel, even though people really like it and respect it. And so it just feels like one where the sentimental favorite might win out, and that would be Christina. People are still on the Quinta tip, but I don't think she's.
Well, yeah, but I mean, on the Christina thing, I don't know how much a personal narrative matters.
So I think it matters. Here's why I think it matters, because it's a very close race without an obvious front runner, even though Quinta is the de facto front runner. I think Christina is really good on Dead to Me, and she's beloved by actors, which has been borne out previously. And so those aspects, I think if she wasn't good on the show, it would be like a sentimental nomination and not really anything else. But the fact that she is good, and the fact that she is well liked, and that she was nominated before for Dead to Me, all these things like lead me to think maybe she could win, because there's really just a very close race where there's not really anything separating like the top three maybe. And you could even go 4 or 5 to Jenna Ortega and Natasha Lyonne. But I don't think they're probably lower ranked, I would say, certainly in the odds and in my brain.
She would be the first person since Melissa McCarthy to win without a series nomination.
Right.
For her show. She's her show's only nomination. That was also a different voting system. So basically no one has won this category under the current system with the whole branch voting.
Right.
Without a series nomination. I would even feel better about her if the show had gotten another nomination somewhere.
Not great, have none. But I just think, I don't know. I just am not convinced Quinta Brunson's going to win, and I'm not convinced Rachel Brosnahan is going to win either. And so I'm left with maybe the sentimentality and the passion behind Christina Applegate as a person, plus the strong performance would push her slightly above the other two.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about this category, as I've said before. So I don't have to think about it for 5 months.
No, maybe when we do our final picks, I'll switch back. But here and during voting, I'm going with Christina in first.
Are you doing this all just to try to be influential during voting?
I don't think we're influential.
Yeah, we have no impact. It's funny when people think
no,
you do. No one's paying attention. No, people vote for what they
like. I'm not like I said. Rachel Brosnahan, I think, should win, and I'd want her to win. But I'm also like, is that clouding the reason why I think she would win? When there are a lot of reasons why you would say maybe she wouldn't, because she's won before and they don't go backwards, and there's not a lot of juice around Maisel, even though the final season was great and people really did like it, but it feels like respected, not loved. Maybe at this point, there's not a ton of passion around the show, but everyone likes the show. That doesn't usually lead to wins. I don't think it's really going to win anywhere else. So to me, would it win Best Actress? That just seems maybe. I mean, obviously Christina is only dead to me, can't win anywhere else. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not the greatest comp, and I'm like, I don't know. And Quinta would be an easy winner, but they clearly were not as hot on Abbott as everyone else on the internet is.
Yeah, but it's only actors voting. The actors do like Abbott. She has 2 acting nominations this year. It won an acting category last year.
But
it retained its acting, like its regular acting categories, and it added an extra person with Taraji too.
Yes. But
so like overall the show did not perform well, and it didn't add Lisa Ann Walter or Chris Perfetti or anyone, but it like she's fine.
Well, of course she's fine. She was nominated and there weren't a lot of other options to nominate. I'm just saying, like, I think if the actors were really passionate about it, maybe it would have added those 2 other nominations that we thought, like Chris Perfetti and
Lisa. But like that's also a different race. Like I'm not arguing against like I don't have Quinta either. I'm just saying, like, because it's branch voting for the winners, I don't think like the underperformance of Abbott overall really impacts her that much, especially in this race, which is just overall kind of weak. So it's like she can still win.
Yeah, well, of course she can still win, but I don't think she will.
Too. And like, I mean, I don't have her either. So, but I just don't think like that, like its mid performance is really hurting her that much when we're already doubting like who is strongest in this field. Like they're kind of like on a level playing field, all of them.
Yeah, I would say, like, I would, if Abbott did get another acting nomination for either Lisa Ann Walter or Chris Perfetti, I think it would be a lot more confident predicting her to win. So
sure, but like shows with more acting nominations don't necessarily win a lot of those categories either. So
no, but I think it would show overall that the actors were very excited about Abbott and that they were passionate about it.
I mean, we already knew like they were not as passionate about it as maybe people think they were with the SAGs, because Tyler James Williams didn't get in, and Quinta was the only individual nomination there. Like obviously they won ensemble as expected. So like we already had like tea leaves about that anyway.
So that's why I'm like, I don't have her right away in first. I have her in third now behind Rachel, because I still like Rachel the most.
I mean, I think, like, again, not to sound like a broken record, if it's the tape system, Rachel would win.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't have a horse in this race. Like, I don't really care who wins. Like, I don't have a personal favorite. So it's like it'll be cool to see Christina win. And obviously it is a nice story. But I don't know how much they think about that or care about that. And she is great on the show, but the show also feels like a distant memory as well. So they would really just kind of have to be voting for her. Like, I'm not sure, like, no offense to Destiny, which I greatly enjoyed all 3 seasons, but I don't think anyone is really like revisiting that right now. And these other, I mean, like Wednesday was absolutely big. These other shows are more recent. Poker Face underperformed as well, but I don't think Natasha's winning this.
I feel like for Wednesday, I don't know if, like, I mean, obviously we've talked about like how people are trying to comp Jenna to like Zendaya, but I don't know if she's really the priority for Netflix or just in general people thinking about it right now in that fashion. So I don't think she's like even though the show is nominated for series, I think she's got less of like I would have her behind like the top 3 for me, which is Christina, Rachel, and Quinta in some order, whatever it ends up being when I do these final picks in December or January.
Yeah, and it's like we've talked about this. I don't know if she has like if that performance really inspires as much passion as Zendaya's does on Euphoria.
I agree.
So
yeah, I haven't really made any other big changes. Let's see. I know you haven't.
I have not done anything.
I still have Ray in first for drama supporting actress. I've
Sure.
toyed with Niecy Nash-Betts versus Claire Danes a lot, but I haven't switched to Niecy just yet.
How close are they?
Niecy is like kind of well ahead. Most if you read most of the pundits' choice, they think Niecy's going to just steamroll.
She's definitely like the people's choice.
And it would be great to see her win. Like we talked about this in our typing column.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure. I mean, like it makes a lot of sense from her stature as an actor in the industry to the performance to the visibility of the show versus Fleischman. But because Fleischman actually overperformed, maybe that's why I think there is still room for Claire to win. But I think that one is really close.
I mean, again, if everyone got to vote for the winners, I think the edge to Claire would be more clear because Fleischman did overperform. You know, it got like writing, directing, and series too. And but it's just actors voting, so it's really tough to say because they've kind of, you know, obviously Claire has won before and Niecy has not, but she's accrued multiple nominations in the past decade. So it feels like she's coming up on her time too.
Yep.
And, you know, regardless of what you think of Dahmer, you know, people love her performance on it. But, you know, it also just got the bare minimum acting nominations, whereas you could argue that Fleischman was strong enough to pull in Lizzie Kaplan in a very tough category.
Definitely.
But it also is Jesse Eisenberg. So like
In
Claire was
weaker
always,
category.
like Claire and Niecy were always locked here.
Yeah. It
So.
does. I like. I'll see if I switch that one too in a few months. Excuse me, weeks. If only it was weeks, Joyce. No, a few months. We'll see.
Yeah, because so Niecy won the Critics' Choice Award over Claire, right? But that's not surprising to me either.
No. We talked about her great speech that you had to watch on, I don't know, public television. What was it on? Channel 11? Yeah.
I mean, I didn't watch that ceremony live, so.
I did.
But like, I know they paired the winners.
It was her and Paul Walter Hauser, After Party star.
That's
and
cool.
Nominee for Blackbird.
Yeah. They could win again on the 1-year anniversary of their Critics' Choice wins for the same
and
shows.
The day after this year's Critics' Choice Awards, where neither one of them are up for an award, but they could present the awards maybe if the Critics' Choice Awards decide to do that.
Yeah. And then next day, what a better way to celebrate 1 year of your win with an Emmy win for the same performance.
Delightful.
From a show from 2022.
It's great. It's just a great system. They really nailed it this year. I think it's going to be really strong stuff. Just we have a ton of emails. Should we go into emails? You have anything else here before we hit the people?
I don't know. Did you change anything else?
Not really. Let me look at Creative Arts. I don't think I did. Did I always have Prey winning? This is great stuff, but I don't remember. I think I moved Prey into
You've
first.
always had Prey winning.
Okay. Everything else, I'll tell you, I've been thinking of switching to Mayim Bialik instead of Keke Palmer for a game show host, but I haven't done that. Mayim is first in the odds, but I've had Keke in there. I might go back to Mayim.
You want to go to Mayim because she's not going to do Celebrity Jeopardy?
Correct. Solidarity, and I think that'll go far. I think that'll put her over the top. And she won't vote split with Ken Jennings in that way. I'm going to actually do it right now. Mayim, you're in first.
Congratulations to Mayim Bialik on her future Emmy win in January.
Just for me, the congratulations. Yeah, thanks. That's great. I didn't switch anything else really in these categories.
Maybe I'll just go through and save everything again, but not change anything.
Yeah, we'll talk about this maybe on our mid-season finale. Emails, Joyce, we got so many, and I appreciate all the listeners and viewers who wrote in and continue to do so. Please do it, because next week we're going to do our early Oscar picks again. And then the following week we'll do our mid-season finale, and then we'll go fully into Oscars. So get the emails in. This one is from Mitchell. I don't believe we read this one. It was sent Thursday, Joyce. Hi, a longtime LOLer, first-time caller. Do you remember this intro?
LOLer?
He laughs out loud at us, Joyce.
Oh, that's nice.
Mitchell writes, I've been thinking, There's obviously been a lot of discourse about the series that toe the line between comedy and drama and how to categorize those. We did talk about this, didn't we? Or no? Or maybe you and I talked about this.
We talk about this frequently.
This was the one, I think we talked about this with our typing face to face, where this was the one with suggesting this is, I'm going to read this because we didn't read it. I know we talked about it though. Do you think the performances should be categorized differently? For instance, let's call Succession a drama and The Bear and Barry comedies. It's a free country sometimes, but Cousin Greg is more comedic in his performance in a drama series, in my opinion. Do you see a world where the Emmys or any major awards player nominate someone like Nicholas Braun for outstanding comedic performance versus categorizing the acting by series it's in? This could be an interesting way of slotting in genre-bending singular performances, especially for guest stars, for instance, Jamie Lee Curtis in The Bear. As far as I know, only the venerable MTV Movie and TV Awards have, quote, performance-centered categories. Thoughts, feelings, or reactions?
So Mitchell just wants this to be like the Oscars, where it's not genre specific.
No genre,
yeah,
but genre with comedic performance, right?
No, but he's saying like the show themselves could pick drama or comedy.
Yes.
But then for the performances, the actors can vote for the person in whatever genre they want.
Correct. Then how would that work, you think?
I guess you would just, like, on ballots, you would just submit actors just to submit them in like lead or supporting or guest.
And it would be best TV.
It would just be like best supporting like best supporting actor in a series.
But he's saying you switch it, even you delineate between in specific of the performance. So best comedy performance, depending, no matter what the show is.
So there still be genre categories for the performances. But so like, I mean, you could still do what I just said. Like, you just submit people in like lead, supporting, or guest, and then the actor will just be like, I'll vote for Nicholas Braun in comedy supporting actor.
Yes, kind of like Golden Globes, maybe a little.
Well, the Globes, they have specific.
That's
like
true.
You can't switch it.
Right.
So he wants the voters to have free reign to
Yes.
put the actors wherever they want.
What do you think? Any chance of that ever happening?
I mean, that'll be super chaotic and a lot of fun, because you know what? Succession is funnier than most comedies. Succession should win drama series and comedy series.
So,
and is there anything funnier than Wasabi Lemon LaCroix in America Decides?
So I think Nick Braun would be comedy performance for sure. I think Kieran would go to comedy performance. I think Sarah and Jeremy would be drama performances, even though they're funny.
I mean, all of them are very funny, but yeah, Jeremy, like, oh my God, like when Jeremy says to Rava, "You're too online, you've lost context." It's so funny.
Great.
So fucking funny.
But I think it's way more dramatic.
Yeah, people would vote for him in drama.
Yes.
Like Tom is very funny too, but I think people vote for him in drama.
Like
Eldest Son would be, well, Eldest Son this season had dramatic material, but I think in the past he would have been in comedy.
I think even this season it would be because of the speech when he concedes. Conheads.
But people remember the karaoke speech more.
Sure.
And that's also his tape. So like that was my people were like, he needs a fucking Emmy nomination.
Right. How about The Bear? Jeremy Allen White drama performance.
I mean, like, you know, the internet will nominate all of them in drama.
But I would say like Eben Bosmackrack and Debris would be comedy performances. I don't think they're that dramatic. I think even in the drama of the show,
Eben skews both. Io, I think, like, I think she's funny, but I don't think she is the funny, like, the way that most people view humor and comedy.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
A little dry.
Like they'll see the comedic elements in Evan's performance and Richie, but not necessarily in Sydney and Io. That's what I think. So I think people would still like vote for her in drama. Obviously Jeremy in drama.
Right.
And then yeah. And then they would so he's saying like they're still forced to vote for The Bear in comedy because it's submitted as a comedy. As
a series. It's a free country, as Mitch said, sometimes, parentheses.
So series are forced in where they're submitted, but actors are not.
Yes. I'm into that. Just free for all.
It'll be more fun, and it'll make predicting more exciting. It's like,
It would.
where
It would
do
be
you think they'll
complete
go?
chaos. Yeah, it'd be complete chaos. Then
I
Mitch,
mean, you could do that with the White Lotus. So
yeah, Mitch finishing up here. While we're on the topic of performances, shout out to Molly Shannon, Renee Elise Goldsberry, Eden Scher, and Josie Tota, who have given some of the straight up funniest LOL performances in recent memory for zero Emmy recognition. Because, quote, funny versus, quote, comedic performances is a whole other discussion. Thanks for reading. And here's Mitch's last hot take. Joyce, I think this one maybe you'll like, or not. James Marsden as James Marsden was gold in Jury Duty, but Corbin Bleu as Corbin Bleu was maybe better in High School Musical, the musical, the series.
I can't say I've seen High School Musical,
Okay.
musical the series. So I'm not gonna argue that. But I stand my guy James.
The best.
He's rising in the odds. I think he's like up to 4th now.
He is. If you're a sharp predictor, I think you got James Marsden in there winning.
I mean, I've had him since noms.
So there you go. That's proof of what I just said.
So I don't know. Now everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. Guys.
I have been 100 to 1 in first.
Did you? Well, no, you switched to him because you had Eben first, right?
I think I had Evan in first right away, and then I switched to him. And I think I have 100 to 1, or maybe that's Jury Duty. I have 100 to 1. Let me see. Just quickly look here.
You don't have Jury Duty winning series.
No, I have it in third.
Yeah, me too.
I have James at 90 to 1, excuse me. So still pretty early adopter.
You were like a little behind. You were like a week or two behind, probably.
Yeah.
But I remember when I right after noms, I picked him to win, and he was in 6th in the odds overall, just above Henry Winkler, and now he's in 4th.
Your influence. Hashtag your influence. Here's one from Sean. Hi, Joyce and Chris. Sean emailed everybody. Email us at slugfest@goldderby.com. We definitely could use the emails as we go into our mid-season Emmys finale. Avid listener Sean here. You guys rock in all caps. I'm listening to your Oscars 2009 playback video right now and loving it. That's right. You could also listen to those. We have one more of those, Joyce. 2010.
Yeah, the time has come.
The time has come for us to have another season finale, and also Catherine Bigelow to win her first Oscar.
Yeah, and then we rank all the Best Picture winners of the decade, of the 2000s.
So much fun. I think you'll be really surprised by the results if you've been following along.
Really difficult to guess what's 10 for both of us.
Tough. It's a tough one. My question this week is about drama guest actress. With 3 nominees each from Succession and The Last of Us, I'm finding it hard to figure out who will stand out and who is the front runner. While looking at the nominees, my gut went with Cherry Jones for Succession for a few reasons. The Emmys love her as she has 3 previous wins, 2 of which were this category, one for Handmaid's Tale in 2019 for a very short and arguably unmemorable performance, and the second for Succession in 2020 for a longer and more meaty performance. It is clear the Academy loves her, and I think with a category like this with no standout, the Emmys could just pick her because she's their favorite. We know how lazy they can be with this category sometimes. Cough, cough, Claire Foy. Cherry's performance as Nan is more sizable than that of the brief Handmaid's Tale stint as June's mother, Holly, and she did deliver a strong, compelling performance opposite the Roy children in season 4, episode 1. If it's not her, I think Harriet Walter stands a chance for her short but memorable scenes in the final 2 episodes of Succession and for her excellent work across all 4 seasons. I also think Melanie Linsky could take it for her exceptional performance in The Last of Us as sort of a consolation prize for presumably losing drama lead for Yellow Jackets. But right now I'm sticking with Cherry Jones. But I'm eager to hear your thoughts on this category. Love you guys so much, and I'm excited for your 24 Oscar predictions soon. Well, stay tuned, Sean. Next week, we'll be running those.
I mean, technically, we have one out since March.
Yeah, we updated them, and they're on the website. But we updated them and talked about them at length, and that's going to go up next week. Yeah. Sean also wants us to plug his YouTube. I'm just going to plug it briefly, Joyce. He has a YouTube channel called The Awards Gambit. There you go. But what do you think about that Cherry Jones pick, Joyce? I have her in dead last, which makes me think I'm completely wrong.
I have her in last too, but only because, someone's got to be last.
Right. And if you ain't first, you're last, as Talladega Nights taught us.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan's favorite movie.
Yeah. Outside of La La Land. So.
Right. He's got great taste. I love that man. It's just the best.
And no, I don't think Sean's wrong in the least. I think Cherry could very much happen. It'll make a lot of people very angry, I think. But yeah, like all the points he laid out, like they are lazy. Like she's a familiar face. She has 3 Emmys. She is the only person in this category who has won an Emmy before, and she has 3 of them. 2 in this category. If she wins a 3rd time, she'll hold the record for most wins in a category. And yes, her Handmaid's win was just like name check, super brief. She has like less than 2.5 minutes of screen time in that episode. You know, that's more than Margot Martindale sipping coffee for like a minute. But
and more than John Bernthal looking at the camera.
This year, for 3 seconds. So I think she's being underpredicted right now because she was only in the premiere, and that episode obviously preceded Logan's death and like everything that happened after. So I think she's just been kind of overshadowed by all the subsequent episodes. And you know, Nash-Betts, like everyone loves Marsha, iconic moment in Honeymoon States with Willa and Carrie, and then obviously Harry Walter, you know, amazing. The last 2 episodes. Yeah, Face Eggs. She submitted Church and State. I was like, oh.
But she's gonna win. She'll win for Face Eggs in our hearts, at least.
You always win for Face Eggs. You have to win for Face Eggs. So, yeah. So I think people also like want one of them to win too, because they've been, you know, they haven't been awarded for Succession. Yeah, and then the Last of Us ladies. I think you've talked about this before. Like you think they're more evenly split than the Succession ladies, because
I do.
People are not as high on Cherry as they are on him and Harriet.
I do think that, because I think like Melanie, I think is an easy. I have her at Melanie in second. I think she'd be like an easy one to. If she won, I would not be shocked, because it's like a villainous kind of against type turn, but she's also like kind of empathetic, even though she's like a fascist monster. Storm Reed, I think, is great because she makes you cry. And Anna Torv, I've seen a lot of people more excited about than I am personally. But so I think, you know, that character is like famous from the game, and she is great in her, you know, brief appearances on the show, and makes that great sacrifice. So it's like, again, another maybe emotional connection with the character. But I'm like, Sean's reasons for Cherry Jones make me think that maybe it's more. One of the reasons I have her in last is only because, like you said, somebody has to be in last. But also, like you also said, it feels like that episode was a million years ago. Nobody really talks about the first episode of Succession at this point, right? Even the second one, like you were just saying before with Eldest Son, it's got more juice, right? Because of like the karaoke scene and the famed "You Are Not Serious People." That's a go-to GIF for me, or GIF, I guess.
I say GIF.
I guess that's right. But anyway, that one's like the first episode, not a lot of people thinking about it, even though it's a great episode as well. So that would be why I have her down low. But maybe they just kind of like go with her because they went with her previously, and why not? And she's already won for this performance, so why wouldn't she win again, I guess, right? That would be the logic. So maybe I should move her up, is what I'm saying.
And I also like, I feel like maybe, you know, like she could also just win because it's like we only have 2 shows here. Like they're 2 of their favorite shows of the year, yes. Obviously. And I think all of these ladies have their fans, whether it's, you know, just personal fans or just for these performances on these shows. So like the margins might be really small.
I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking too. And then she does win because it's like a familiar face who's won before. Part of me, the reason why, I mean, Harriet, I have it first, like you do, and like I think most people, is because it feels like just a cumulative win for having a great character and then also great performances this season as well. So it's like a twofer.
Yeah, and then she's once again nominated for Ted Lasso too, just like last year. So
they clearly like her. Melanie, like I just mentioned, I have her in second because of the performance, and she's a nominee in another category as well, and just easy. Hyam I have in Storm I have third and fourth, but that might be my own bias, right? Maybe they're not as actually well rated among the voters. as they are among me, and then like Anna and Cherry should be higher, and then maybe Cherry higher than Anna, and then all of a sudden Cherry should be in third and maybe second and then first. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know, but I do know like if Cherry does win, like people would be upset, like more so than if any other nominee won,
Certainly would be pressed.
because it's like she's won before,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like if you're gonna go with Succession lady, go with him or Harriet, you know.
Yes, and and I think that's true, because I think that's the only that's another reason why I have her in last, I guess, or among the Succession actresses. No fault of her performance, but I feel like we've talked about, sometimes it does seem like while they are incredibly lazy, and like Claire Foy won for The Crown, when they do like the show, sometimes it seems like they actually pay attention to the show. And so if you do pay attention to the show and you're voting from that aspect, Harriet or Hyam should win, probably, because they are
But
much more
maybe
impactful.
like the issue is like how do you choose between him and Harriet?
And then those who don't watch the show or don't care are like, I like Cherry Jones, check.
Maybe they only watch the Monsters.
That'd be awesome. They watched the first episode and were like, this is a great show about Cherry Jones.
Yeah. They saw Turnhaven and are Justice and the Monsters, and that's it.
Another email here. This one from our old friend Uri,
Hmm.
who emailed us at slugfest@goldriver.com. Uri writes, it's Uri again. I have a couple of questions for you regarding trends I have been seeing among the predictions. Love that. Thanks for doing the work for us, Uri.
Love trends.
That what makes me happy. Love trends. First of all, why did everyone have Abbott second or first and are so sure in Quinta's actress win? We have seen that the industry awards mostly ignored it, except for the ensemble win, and Quinta's performance is not the usual flashy fare that wins acting awards. It feels like the predictions are mainly people who believe the Twitter hype or like the narrative. This season, except the Barbara opening with the wrong celebrity names, didn't really register online in any special way. This is Uri. This is not me. This is Uri. I think it's between Ted, because the voters are boring, or the Bear, fingers crossed. And I still think Rachel can win because it's a very actor-friendly performance, speaking as an actor. Then I have more here from him, but let's start with that. What do you think?
I mean, well, we kind of talked about actress already with,
Yes.
you know, so, yeah, and then like, you know, the SAG stuff and how it only got 2 nominations when, you know, what was it even in the odds predicted to get 3 individual?
Yes.
For Quinta, Cheryl, and Janelle?
Yeah.
I mean, I know people are definitely predicting that too.
I mean, yeah.
Well, for series where is it in series? It's in
Well, I was
second?
just looking. So Ted is in first, green arrow pointing up. Then the Bear flat, and then Abbott, red arrow pointing down. And it's like well behind the Ted and the Bear. So I think while there is still like a lot of conversation around Abbott, those who are predicting have kind of realized that maybe it's not as strong as these other 2 shows.
Well, it's missing directing and writing.
A huge red flag.
Yeah, like last year it won writing. It also missed directing last year.
Right.
So
I've seen some pundits suggest it will win actress in series and nothing else, and be the first show since your favorite Friends, I think, to have done this.
I love Friends. Yeah, Friends won in 2002, but that was off of season 8, their resurgent season.
Right.
Also coming off of 9/11, that was Rachel's pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when the entire cast decided to be, they were like, you know, they used to all submit in supporting, and we're like, we're gonna go lead. So they nominated most of them, and Jennifer won, and the show won. And they actually this is like one of those producer decisions, kind of like, you know, Steven Soderbergh moving Best Actor after Best Picture at the Oscars.
Never
But
forget.
it was like such a sure thing that Friends would win that year that they announced comedy series after drama series. Like, you know, they always do drama series last. But Jay Leno came out and said Friends, and he showed an envelope. So I still have that ceremony on VHS.
Wow. Do you still have VCR?
It also aired on the 8th anniversary of the show's premiere.
Wow.
On September 22nd, 2002. So, but anyway,
do you have VCR to play that or no?
I don't have a VCR now.
No, you got to get one. I got one over here. Yeah.
I mean, I had one I had like the DVD VCR set, the TV.
Sure. That doesn't work anymore.
College.
Yeah.
No, obviously not. It's
no
like humongous. Like my dad got rid of it. So, But yeah, I don't think Abbott is Friends and will be able to do that.
I think the level of fame that Friends and the cast had in that 8th season is a lot different from the level of fame and interest that Abbott and Quinta has in season 2. Not that they can't achieve that.
Right. Yeah. And I
Hope
think,
springs.
I mean, like last year, after last year's Emmys, I think that was kind of like the hope, or the feeling like, oh, the show won 3 Emmys, like it's on the rise and it could really explode in season 2. Like we all were expecting it to get a lot more nominations this year than it did. It only got 8 and it missed the category it won.
Tough beat.
So
That's a tough beat. I feel like we're thinking that now with the Bear will not have to compete with Ted and probably not Abbott, or at least not a full season of Abbott the way this is going. But I feel like the Bear will greatly increase its nominations total going into season 2, even though it already had so many nominations in season 1. It would be hard to believe it doesn't add.
I mean, they could get like Abby Elliott,
I mean, she could get in, and so the supporting actor would be Evan and Oliver, Abby Elliott in supporting actress with Io, Jeremy Allen White. That's 5.
Maybe this time they'll actually submit Liza Colon-Zayas.
She could get into. I mean, it could get 5 or 6 in the main categories, and then obviously dominate the guest categories like we've expected. Plus writing and directing, plus add cinematography, plus maybe add other things elsewhere, and away we go.
Music supervision.
Music, it seems like an obvious one that it would add. Certainly just for the Taylor Swift. But yeah, so that didn't happen with Abbott. So
but yeah, I think Yuri is right. Like it's kind of being over predicted because it is like a Twitter fave, and I do agree like that the cold open with Barbara mixing up Black and white celebrities was really like the only thing that went super viral that even like my normie friends noticed. Like a lot of funny moments. Like I really liked season 2 of Abbott.
It's good. I mean, it's like we've talked about with Only Murders as a comp. I think they're 2 fine, enjoyable shows.
Yeah, like I'm never like that was a terrible episode of Abbott Elementary.
No, completely great. Oh, always good. It's
yeah, and then again, like it didn't really overperform at the guilds. Like it lost PJ and WGA to the Bear.
Right.
Its big win was SAG Ensemble, which expected. Makes sense, total sense. And yeah, I don't think you can predict it to win series without writing and directing.
I don't know how you could either. And that's why I've got Ted just firmly entrenched in first.
Yeah, I have Ted still.
And I'm still waiting, and I'm still figuring if I want to add more Ted wins in the top.
So you didn't switch to Hannah?
I didn't switch to Hannah. I'm actually more thinking of switching to Jason. I know that's so stupid, but I really kind of think he could win. I think he's got an easier, because Hannah to me has to it's kind of like it's like the wild card race, Joyce, to me. There's a lot of people in the Hannah race that I think could stake claim to a win. So you have Hannah, you have Io, you have Cheryl Lee Ralph, you have Janelle James even, right? Like all these people I think are very well positioned to maybe win. And for Jason, he only really has to compete with Jeremy. Now we all think Jeremy will win, but Jason has won 2 times in a row. He is Ted Lasso. If they obviously love the show, as Uri said, perhaps because they're just a little lazy or set in their ways. Regardless, the show performed really well. Maybe he just wins again. It's the last time. And we already know Jeremy's the obvious winner for season 2, which the Emmys will give out 10 months later or whatever, 11 months later, 9 months later,
8 months later,
8 months later.
Wow.
So, they could, and so I don't know. I could see Jason winning. I haven't done it, and it's not being predicted very widely at all. Everyone just expects Jeremy to win because he won, but he's never competed with Jason. So I think that also is at least a factor. I'm not doing this, but I'm if I was going to add a Ted acting win, that's who I would add, not Hannah.
I just don't think they think far. I don't think Jason cannot win, but I don't think they think far ahead like that. Oh, Jeremy can win next year. I just don't think they think like that. If they just want to vote for Jason, they'll vote for him now,
Mhm.
but like I don't think they're thinking Jason can win now and Jeremy can win
Maybe,
next year. Because
maybe
maybe,
right.
you know, some show can premiere between now and May 31st that they really like, and it's like, oh, I'm not gonna vote for Jeremy this time for season 2 of The Bear. So
I mean, that could happen too, but I don't know. I'm not. I would not if I add a Ted acting win, it'll be Jason. I think so. But I
um
haven't done it yet,
but
so
then we won't get Jeremy winning Globe
it
and Critics'
breaks
Choice for season 2 of The Bear and then an Emmy for season 1 of The Bear.
the
We need
stupidity
that.
of it. The banking on the stupidity of that image is what I really want to stick with. And so, like, I'm hoping that happens because I love to see that because I think it's just shows such just lack of and lack of common sense on the broadcast of these Emmys. But like, I don't know if it's gonna happen. So
I also feel like Jason had not, you know, obviously, like you said, they haven't faced off before, but I don't think Jason has faced as strong competition as he has in Jeremy previously.
absolutely agree. I think that's true. So
Like he was obviously winning for season 1, like no shit,
right.
of course. Last year, you know, obviously I wanted Bill Hader to win.
Ooh.
And he actually, like, Bill had better material in season 3 than in season 4 of Barry. And he also got the extra nomination and guest for Curb, and Jason did not for SNL.
Mhm.
And last year's nominees were the two of them, Nicholas Hoult, who was not winning, but you know, great on the great, the Martins, and Donald Glover.
Right.
So, you know, like in hindsight, we now know like they're just obsessed with Ted.
So that's why I think he could win over Jeremy.
Yeah, but I don't think I just don't like I don't think Bill is as strong as Jeremy, and obviously Barry has never been as strong as
Right.
the Bear is, even
Mhm.
though the Bear has not won anything yet.
All of this
Yeah.
is true. And I'm not done it yet, but I'm just saying, like, when I do it, this is why I'm thinking, because I just think Ted maybe could squeeze out another acting win.
So you're not gonna do
Hannah.
Ted as supporting actor either.
No, because I think people who like the show and watch the show would think it's Phil, but I think like Emmy voters might just go to Brett and they'll just split their votes. I think that there's enough like I think that is just too knotted. I don't know. I don't think that either one of them is gonna get out of the barrel of monkeys, basically.
I think Phil is too low in the odds. He's only in 6th.
It's outrageous that just people are not paying attention. If you don't think like people who watch Ted Lasso, including Emmy voters who love the show, love Phil and Jamie Tart this season, you're out of your mind, basically.
Like
So
it's Tyler who's still in 1st,
just what?
Evan, Brett, James, Anthony, Phil, and Henry.
No.
So I think most people have Henry last.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I have James in 1st. I have James, Evan, and Phil as my top 3.
I think I have James, Phil, and Evan as my top 3. I somehow closed the window again. Got to keep these windows open. Let's see.
Yeah.
I have James, Phil, Evan, Brett, Anthony, Tyler, and Henry.
Yeah, I have Brett in 4th, Anthony in 5th, and Tyler in 6th.
So Uri had more in his email, Joyce.
That's another Ted or not Ted, Abbott over prediction, I guess, that Uri will not like.
Yes.
So
Uri continues, I have reservations regarding any Dahmer wins as well, because I think a lot of people didn't watch it because it's gross, like me. And Ryan Murphy had issues, didn't act well during the strike. I really hope Claire gets the win for Fleischman.
So do you think Dahmer will be penalized because of Ryan's stabbing?
I don't actually, and I actually maybe want to add another Dahmer win in directing, because I think Paris Barclay could win for directing, and that Dahmer won't split its own votes.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like, I mean, I don't have the show winning anyway, limited series, like I have beef, but I don't think they would punish other people who are not named Ryan Murphy for what Ryan Murphy is doing or not doing.
I also don't think there's proof that there are some people who are very mad at Ryan Murphy. I don't know if the whole industry is mad at Ryan Murphy, I would say. Yeah,
and like, why would you be mad at Niecy, Nash-Betts, or Evan Peters, or Richard Jenkins?
I actually do think it could win directing, because I was like, Fleischman, it's two beefs, two Dahmers
Yeah.
and Fleischman and Prey, right? Is that the list?
Yes.
And so we both talked to the beef guys, Lee Sung Jin for me and Jake Schreier for you. I don't think Lee's a strong bet to win for directing because he's not known as a director. It's his first directing credit, right? So like feels more likely that they would win writing or producing as series, right? Because like he could win that and that would be great. The show obviously was like beloved by the voters. So I don't think he's going to go home empty handed. And Jake does a great job directing, but I'm not sure that the episode would be flashy enough to win over the finale. So I think like, and especially within people who like the show, I think those are pretty evenly split maybe. So I don't think either one of them maybe could win. With Dahmer, I think the Paris Barclay episode is like way stronger than the Carl Franklin episode. So I feel like that plus that Paris is like a legend in the field would probably help him as well. And I think Fleischman is probably more the writing show. So I'm not sure when directing. And I could see Prey really winning. So I'm like, I think Paris could win though for Dahmer. I don't think it's like out of the question that Dahmer wins directing and Niecy, and those are its 2 wins.
I don't think Paris has won an Emmy in this century.
No.
He won his Emmys in the 90s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think,
Yeah.
But because he just had a bunch of Glee nominations, I think. But yeah, obviously Silenced is like it's the me time of Dahmer.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I think that is like the more obvious pick of the pairs compared to Beef, where I think like they are kind of evenly split. And I think Figures of Light, the finale, is ahead in the odds. But like I feel like this could be another scenario that happened with Succession and The Crown, where everyone was predicting one episode to win directing, and then the other episode wins.
I mean, that
Like
could happen too.
This Is Not for Tears and
Yeah.
Hunting and Fairy Tale and War.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like The Great Fabricator is like the action episode,
Yeah.
right? I have Hunter Chase, and it's like it's I mean, they're both different from the other 8 episodes before it, but I think like this is like the first different episode, and it really sets up the denouement of the finale.
Mm-hmm. It's like a 2-part finale, basically.
Yeah. So I think I still have Me Time winning that.
I just want to really I want to actually put, this is not going to happen because they don't do this, but I actually want to put Beef still. I mean, I think Beef is winning series, and I think it'll win multiple acting Emmys, but I kind of want to put Dahmer in first in directing and then Fleischman in first in writing, which seems stupid because like Beef would clearly win one of those if it's going to win series, but I feel like Fleischman should really win writing for Taffy, Brodess, or Ackner.
I don't think I have Dahmer winning anything above the line.
No, well, if it's not going to win,
I mean, it could win Niecy. Like she's the one who's predicted
right.
to win.
That's like the most obvious one.
But I don't have her. I still have Claire. And yeah, but I don't think like they'll punish her or any other Dahmer nominee because of Ryan. And so
I agree.
Yeah, like he's not personally nominated.
Even if he was, I don't know if he was, if he was.
I mean, obviously he's a producer, but he's like he doesn't have an individual nomination.
No. And I just don't believe that people. I think like, yeah, I don't believe that either.
Yeah.
Other emails here, Joyce. Let's see. We have some film ones we could shift to just briefly. This one is just fun for a thought exercise. It's from Daniel, who rarely writes in. Daniel, thank you for writing in. slugfest@goldderby.com. Hi, Joyce and Chris. If you had to choose 3 personal favorite film directors, who would they be? I'd have to go Stanley Kubrick, Jane Campion, and David Fincher. Keep up the quality content.
I've never thought about, so I don't have a favorite filmmaker or director. This bothers people I've talked to sometimes when they ask like who's your favorite director. Like I don't even have a favorite actor, but like especially if like the person's like a cinephile, like they get very offended when I say I don't have a favorite filmmaker. I like a lot of people.
It's hard to pick a favorite.
Yeah. I mean, I would say like the director I've been most familiar with my life or like the first director I was really aware of is Spielberg.
Mm-hmm. I mean, mine would be like basic, like Spielberg, Scorsese, and probably like Tarantino.
Yeah. Yeah, I like a lot of like I like certain films. Like I have favorite films of certain directors. But I don't I don't have like a fave filmmaker, and like I don't, I don't rank things.
I
So
mean, I will say, like, when you think of like a lot of the, like, with someone like Scorsese, there are movies that he's made that I think are fine. And then there are movies that I
I
think
mean,
are
I
like
think that's
favorites
true
of
for
all time.
everybody.
And I think
So
like Spielberg similarly, right? But I think there are more like, and like Tarantino, I feel like is almost always great. It's like, because he's only made like 9 or 10 or whatever he wants to say. But those are like, Nolan, I think, is on that list too, where like I don't think I've ever not liked one of his movies. But I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's
right, but I
consistent.
wouldn't say like, yeah, he's not like my fave. Like, I mean,
No,
like Oppenheimer is my favorite Nolan film.
I mean, I think Dark Knight still is for me, but Oppenheimer is very close behind as well. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like, I mean, I guess I would say the Coens, like their sensibility
Very
and sense
good.
of humor. Yeah, like there are a lot of people I like just because of their style.
Sure. And I mean, the
Um,
Coens are like one of those, I'd say, when they hit, it's an all time.
yes.
Sometimes they miss, but that's okay.
Like I'm not really a David O. Russell person.
I mean, I would say like there are like 3 or 4 movies that he's made that I think are all time, but then a lot of them that are not good, including
Yeah,
Amsterdam.
well,
Remember we saw that one?
gosh.
That was
Yeah,
tough.
I'm not into, like, I like Three Kings, but basically everything after that, no.
I love American Hustle and I love Silver Linings, but Amsterdam was a tough sit. Jeez Louise.
I like Fincher too. I think I like most of his films.
Strong
Right.
director. Yeah, great.
Yeah, like I mean the first film of his I saw was Seven and I was 10.
Mhm. That's a good one. Probably something I
Um
saw too, because I never saw Alien.
yeah, I mean I guess I have to say Fincher because I really love Zodiac.
Spike Lee, another one I would put on mine. A lot of
Yeah.
misses, but when he's great, man, he kills. He's so good.
Yeah, I don't know like who else is there. I'm not like super into Wes Anderson, but some things I like.
I did a whole rewatch of his, and it's definitely like, if you were gonna graph it, it's like this. It's kind of like going like this. But the ones up here are great.
Um, Jane Campion, I like most of her films, I think. Like there's nothing I hate of hers really.
And how about Kubrick?
Yeah. But
Um,
he's not like my fave. Like,
Great movies though.
yeah, great movies. Great gowns, beautiful gowns.
Here's another one about sort of movie wise. Just is about our recent Oscars playback choice, which was uh, the 2009 ceremony with Hugh Jackman as the greatest Oscars host of our life. David L., our old friend, writes in a lot. Hi, Joyce and Chris. Please read my full email on your show. With pleasure, David. It's David L. Chris, I wanted to take you up on what you said in your new Oscars playback. You're absolutely right. The meme, you sound like you're from London, from Paul Rudd in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, rules. It's such a great meme and so funny. I didn't like the movie all that much, but I laugh out loud every time someone brings it up, especially in the accent. I also remembered you did it when you were reviewing Rami Malek's ridiculous performance in Bohemian Rhapsody on the Build series Weekend Watch in 2018 with your pal Ricky Camilleri. Joyce doesn't realize what she's missing with a great meme. Also, the Dark Knight score was wrongfully deemed ineligible because of the rule that there were 3 music editors listed on the music cue sheet with Hans Zimmer and James Newton Howard. Pretty ridiculous and a stupid reason for a disqualification to an iconic score. Am I right? You're a loyal listener, David L.
Wow, he's been standing you since
It's a
2018.
long time, Joyce. That's 5 years.
That's half a decade.
I was like, oh, that
I
does
mean,
sound like.
to be clear, I know what the meme is. I just don't see it as often as you do, because obviously things are curated to me on my feed.
The algorithms really help.
Yes, the algorithm on
Selection
X.
bias. It's a selection bias.
I know what it is, but he agrees with me. Neither of us are into Forgetting Sarah Marshall that much. So
both wrong. But I do want to say, good job, past self, making fun of the Rami Malek Bohemian Rhapsody performance for doing that voice. I also will say Rami Malek in Oppenheimer is so good in his brief scene. It almost
slays.
Almost makes it worth almost forgiven for Bohemian Rhapsody.
It'll be cool. Like, I mean, he's not going to get in for Oppenheimer, obviously, but it'll be funny if like a film he's in will beat a film made by Bradley Cooper again.
I think if I remember the credits, I feel like he'll be eligible for a SAG Ensemble nomination.
Yeah, there's only like 9 people eligible for SAG because, you know, they're the famous people who have great agents.
And Rami gets in there as a single title card.
Yeah. So. I mean, like, that is like that scene at the end, like I'm fine with him having, I mean, obviously he's an Oscar winner, so he was going to get one. Like we have 3 successive Best Actor winners in that movie. Casey, Gary, Rami.
Pretty great.
Gary
doesn't get the credit though. He doesn't get his own credit.
And yeah, so but like yeah, that scene at the end, like I think, I mean, like I knew that scene with him was coming, especially because in all the interviews before the movie and on the press tour, like RDJ was saying, like, you know, Rami just came in one day and killed it. And so I knew he was in a scene with him. So, because he said he got to watch him work. So I was like, I knew that those like 2 brief glimpses of him were not the end.
No. He's great in it. He's really good in it. Last email here, Joyce. This comes from Sky, another Oscars playback fave. Dear Joyce and Chris, one of my favorite parts of your Oscars playback is hearing your speculation on what movies from the year would have made it into a field of 10. In your recap of the 81st Academy Awards this week, you discussed The Dark Knight's legacy as being the film to inspire the next year's expanded lineup, providing more opportunities for blockbusters enjoyed by the general public to receive nominations. What blockbusters since the ceremony in 2010 do you imagine would have made it into a lineup of 5 had the rule never changed? So if we had 5 forever.
Oh my God, I don't, probably
I'm
not.
going to look here. So I'm going to go through here. Let's see. This is fun. Hang on. So hang on.
But I'm like, I need to like Academy Award for Best Picture.
I got the wiki up. All right. So
I know, but I need to like look at all these years.
Well, we could just look at these years and what was nominated, and then would
I know, but then there's also films that were not nominated, unless you're just because I feel like that's a factor when you know there's going to be 5 to 10 or just 5.
Maybe, but like look at last year. So I would say like blockbusters, Avatar. Blockbusters to me is like a box office sensation, right? Like I don't think Elvis counts, even though it made a decent amount of money.
Avatar, Top Gun.
Would both have gotten in on 5?
Probably not.
So the 5 last year probably would have been All Quiet, Everything Everywhere, Elvis.
I like how I think like All Quiet could have been like too late too, because remember like voting was in January.
So, I mean, like, what would have gotten in then for 5 last year?
Everything Everywhere, Banshees. I think Fabelmans could have done it. Like it got, you know, directing.
Yeah. Tar, I think would have gotten in on a 5.
Yeah.
And I think Elvis or Top Gun. We're All Quiet.
I think it would have been Top Gun over Avatar.
I think the passion for Top Gun was still really strong last year.
I got a screenplay.
2021, Dune was really the only blockbuster. That's a tough year to take because of the COVID stuff. I think Dune would have gotten in on 5 based on the nominations, and they might have won.
Yeah, like there's nothing else here really.
2020, just write it off. 2019,
Well, now we're in the sliding scale, so there are films that
Missed.
missed. Remember
Yes.
that, so I don't know what that year.
Of what was nominated that I would say count as blockbusters, really Joker definitely, obviously made $1 billion. And you could maybe argue Ford versus Ferrari or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I don't think either of those kind of really qualify for what Sky is asking. I think Joker would have definitely gotten in though in a 5.
Yeah. I mean, it got director.
So 2018, Black Panther is an obvious one. And I actually think that would have gotten in on a 5 too.
Yeah, it was Black Panther, like Bohemian Rhapsody was a blockbuster. Like it was a surprise blockbuster.
I think the 5 that year would have been Green Book, Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, and A Star is Born. Not Roma.
I think Roma would have gotten in. It was winning director.
True.
Like they didn't like A Star is Born.
So maybe that misses and Roma gets in.
Like 2017, Dunkirk. Like this is when Wonder Woman missed.
Would Wonder Woman got in on 5? I don't think so.
No, Wonder Woman made PGA, and then the other miss this year was I, Tonya, which is not a blockbuster either.
I mean, Dunkirk technically, I guess, could qualify. I think that would have.
I mean, it's like the biggest movie, but it's not really a blockbuster.
2016, not a lot of blockbusters.
I like this year, but yeah, not very block. But what was like the top film this year? Was it like Rogue One or something? I don't know.
I mean, Hidden Figures was a big hit, but not top film.
That's not like a blockbuster.
The top film was Captain America: Civil War, then Rogue One, Finding Dory, Zootopia, and Jungle Book. All 5 from Disney. How the Mighty Have Fallen, Joyce, from the back to the Halcyon days. Then
how about Batman versus Superman? That was 2016.
That was number 7 behind Secret Life of Pets, wow. Fantastic Beasts 8, Deadpool 9, and Suicide Squad 10. But what a
time.
What a shitty bunch of movies.
Oh my gosh.
2015, Mad Max and The Martian.
Obviously.
But I think Mad Max would have gotten in maybe The Martian. I don't think so though. With just 5. When you have to have Spotlight.
The big 3 this year was Spotlight, Big Short, and Revenant.
All of those would have gotten in. And Mad Max.
I mean, The Martian could have gotten in, I guess.
Or
unless
Room.
You're gonna go with Room was like.
Room had directing.
Like, are you thinking like Room was top 5 or
I do think it was top 5. No, I do think it was top 5 because it one actress had director. So I think that one's pretty easy. Spotlight, Big Short, Revenant, Room, and Mad Max are the 5.
This was also
good year. That's a good year for movies.
Yeah, I like most of these. I've rewatched most of these this year.
2014, the biggest hit is American Sniper, which was a actual phenomenon at the box office. I think it would have gotten in probably, which is 5.
Yeah, and then
the top films that year were Transformers, The Hobbit, Guardians, Maleficent, and Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. No, none of those.
This was that was the biggest movie this year. I mean, Gone Girl wasn't really a smash. And then what else was there? I don't even know.
2013, Gravity is the biggest hit here, and Wolf of Wall Street. Neither one of them count as like superhero blockbusters.
Right. And then
Gravity was the 8th highest grossing movie. I mean, this is an interesting year because like the top movie was Frozen. Do you think Frozen would have gotten in as a 5? Beauty and the Beast style? Fantastic movie.
I don't maybe
somehow didn't get a Best Picture nomination on a sliding scale though.
Yeah, I think it needs to be obviously it was a huge success, but I don't know if Frozen is seen the same way as like a Toy Story 3 even.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or like an Up.
But maybe it should have been a good movie.
Like, I think it would have had to rely on the song and just the overall success. Yeah, because like even now, I don't think you talk about Frozen the same way.
Here's an interesting year, 2012. So none of these movies I would say count as quote unquote blockbusters, although none of them were in the top 10 of the box office. But I mean, I guess Life of Pi made a decent amount of money, and you know, sure, Django was a big hit. Lincoln made a lot of money. None of these are like flops. But number 2 highest grossing movie was Skyfall. Do you think I mean, really snubbed here.
Skyfall made PGA.
If on a 5, do you think it would have gotten in? I think we were very it was vastly underrated from an Oscar performance. Should have gotten way more.
As you know, I've never seen it, so I can't judge it. But
fantastic movie. I think Skyfall I would have put in my 5 for that year, even though it didn't even get in on the sliding scale.
I don't think it was getting in. Like this year was, I don't know if fun is the right word, but it was interesting because there was a lot of.
This is a great year. These movies
like
are great.
Momentum shifts.
Yeah.
Or just, or I mean, like Argo was kind of like clearly the front runner at a certain point, even after Ben's snub. But, like Zero Dark 30 before it got decimated by the backlash.
I mean,
Rising, and then like Silver Linings, got great reviews. Lincoln also did really well at the box office.
Yeah. I mean, 1, 2, I would say Zero Dark 30, Silver Linings, Lincoln, Django, and Argo are great, very good to great movies. And I think Amour is good, but not like a rewatchable. Beast of Southern Wild, I think, was like a thing at the time. Life of Pi was another see it in the theater and not really think about it again. And Les Mis is fine.
Perfectly fine.
And then 2011...
Moneyball, best movie of the year. I just rewatched it again recently.
It's great. The top big movie here was, I guess, none of these. I mean, Hugo, maybe. The Help actually probably was the highest grossing movie of this list. And then from a box office perspective, Deathly Hallows Part 2 for Harry Potter. Great movie, but not going to get in.
We'll never know.
Then a bunch of junk. Transformers 3, Pirates of the Caribbean, Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1, Ghost Protocol, good movie. Fast 5, Hangover Part 2, yikes. Kung Fu Panda, no. So not a lot of blockbusters I think that didn't get in that would not have gotten in. I think Skyfall is like really the only one I think maybe would have made a case for 5 in a 5, but didn't even get in on its own. So who knows?
Yeah, and then like in 2010, like I think Toy Story 3 was the big movie of 2010. Right?
Yeah, or Inception. Let's see. I mean, like, this is a great year. Toy Story 3 was the top movie of the year. Inception was the 4th highest grossing movie of the year. Both made it in.
Yeah.
So the system works until it doesn't, I guess.
Well, no, because they freaked out after 2010 because it wasn't as broad enough for them. So then that's why they went to the sliding scale. And now we're back to the hard 10.
Good for them. That was a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I don't know. We'll see this year. I have many movies this year that I'm excited about. You'll find out next week if you're watching this when we do our first Oscar or renew our first Oscar picks, review them. That's it, Joyce. So I guess we'll talk one more. So we'll finish up the Emmys on September 7th. Mark your set an alarm.
That would have been in a different timeline. That would have been our creative arts predictions.
Maybe we'll do some creative arts predictions just to make it feel like home.
Make it feel like normal.
Pull off a couch. Just us talking. All right. We'll talk to you then. Bye, Joyce.